Hello YouTube, Sean here from Family Gaming 24/7. We're going to get started straight away with our rules and playthrough video of Death Angel. In the last video we went through the setup of the game. If you haven't seen it yet, I strongly advise that you watch it. I'll put a link on the screen now, so why don't you pause this video, go back and watch the previous one, then come back and watch this one. Right, so we're going to start the game. We're going to do the rules and the playthrough at the same time, and hopefully, because I think basically watching me play the game and explain it as I go along is probably the easiest way for me to explain the rules and for you to follow along. So, each game round is broken up into 3 phases. The first phase is the action phase. In this phase, each player selects one of the action cards per combat team. So in this game I'm controlling 3 combat teams, so I get to choose 3 action cards. These action cards can be an attack, a move and activate, or a support card. Attacks are done against any Genestealers that the Marines are engaged with. Now, by engaged, what I mean is they need to be facing the Genestealer, like Brother Noctis is here, and the Genestealer needs to be within range of the Marine. You may have noticed that the Space Marines have a range attack on their card. Where am I there? So Brother Noctis has a range 2 attack, and what this means is that it basically it reflects the weapon range that they're using. So Brother Noctis has a range 2 attack, which means he can attack Genestealers directly opposite him, and he can attack within 2, so within 2 spaces, 2 Space Marines away. So Brother Noctis can attack any Genestealer here or here, and also here or here, as well as directly opposite him. The only thing that really we need to be concerned about is the direction in which he's facing. He can't attack Space Marine Genestealers from behind. The next type of card. One other thing I need to say is the attack action card. If I was to play my yellow attack action card, then both my yellow Space Marines could attack when we're resolving the cards. It's not just one; it's both of them. So that's something that you need to bear in mind when picking your action cards. The next type of action card you can use as a move and activate card. Now again, this applies to both Space Marines within the squad that the card is being played for. So for example, if I was to play my green move and activate card, what we can actually do on the move and activate is 3 things. The first thing is the Space Marine can swap places with an adjacent Space Marine. Sergeant Gideon who's my primary green guy, could swap places with Brother Claudio, and Brother Noctis could swap places with either Brother Dino or Brother Goriel. Usually the Space Marines can only swap places with adjacent Space Marines. The only exception to that rule is the yellow team. There's some actual special text on their move and activate card, which says your Space Marines may move to any position in the formation instead of just an adjacent position. So that basically means that these yellow guys could, if they were playing that card, could move anywhere in the formation. Doesn't just have to be to an adjacent person. As well as moving, what you can do is change the direction in which your Space Marine is facing. Again, this part of the action applies to both Space Marines in the combat team. And the third thing you can do is activate a terrain card. Now in the current setup, the starting room, the only terrain that can be activated is the door card. So providing your Space Marine who's moved and activated ends the turn facing a door or a terrain card that can be activated, then that terrain can be activated. So they can do either a move, a change facing, or an activate, or all three. But the only thing you need to remember is a terrain card can only be activated once per round. So I couldn't, like, for example, move a yellow guy and activate the door, then move my second yellow guy and activate the door. I think the way this is explained in the rules is you kind of do each phase with each Space Marine. So I would move my yellow guy, and then I'd move my second yellow guy, and then I would change my yellow guy's facing and change my second yellow guy's facing, and that way only one of my Space Marines would be facing the door or the terrain card at the end of his turn. Finally, the last action card that can be played is a support action card. There are some support action cards that have special text on that apply to only the Marine that it states on the card. So for my green support token, it says each time Sergeant Gideon rolls a skull while defending, the attack misses. So Sergeant Gideon is, I think as is reflective as his picture on the card, he's got his big shield, his storm shield there. So he's kind of my main defense guy. One thing you can do when you play a support card is you get a support token. That's what these support tokens are for. You only get one support token. Even though we've got kind of like, if I was to play my green support card, I've got two green guys, I don't get two support tokens, I only get the one. But I can place that on any Space Marine at all. So, you know, if one Space Marine is looking pretty vulnerable and there's a chance that, you know, he may be slain or he may miss an attack, I can place a support token on him, and that gives me the option to re-roll the dice if I need to. So anyway, once all the cards have been selected that you want to play, right, I'll do that now actually, because we're picking up from the last round. So if we look, we know Sergeant Gideon is facing a Genestealer, but he actually only has a range of 0. And actually the other Genestealer is next to my other green guy, so I think it would make sense for me to pick my green attack card. Then I think what I'm probably going to do is I would quite like Sergeant Gideon to be roundabout centre, certainly next to a main terrain card. But then if I move Sergeant Gideon, I'm not going to be able to use an attack with him. So maybe I'm going to have to forego the door terrain card being activated this round. But let me just have a look. If I'm going to play my... right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my move and activate with my yellow guys and my support token for my blue guys. Now you'll notice in the top left hand corner these numbers here, these dictate on which order these cards need to be played. One other thing I should have said was when you need to remember that when you're selecting your cards, whatever cards I play in this round I won't be able to play again in the next round. So the fact that I'm attacking with my green guys in this round means I won't be able to use green to attack in next round. So that's something maybe we need to consider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play them in this order. Blue has a 3, yellow has a 9, green has a 16. So I'm gonna resolve them in this order first. Now my counter attack card is my support card, so I get a support token, which I can place on any guy. Now my main guys that are in trouble, I think, are Sergeant Gideon and Brother Noctis. Sergeant Gideon is my primary guy, and Brother Noctis is my vanilla guy for green. So I'm going to place my support token on Sergeant Gideon in case he misses his attack and needs to re-roll. There is special text on here, but it doesn't apply. each time Sergeant Lorenzo rolls a skull while defending, the attack misses and slay one of the attacking Genestealers. If the swarm still contains a Genestealer, then it attacks again. Sergeant Lorenzo is right at the bottom. I think he's just off camera, you just can't see him. Let's just move him up a little bit. Here he's here. So he's not under any threat at all. There's no Genestealers there, either from the front or the back. So there's no there's no threat there at all. So that's that card kind of resolved. Next is my move and activate, and as I'm using my yellow guys, it does say your Space Marines may move to any position in the formation instead of just to adjacent positions. So this means I can start kind of moving these guys about a bit. I think what I'm going to do is I want these blue guys split up a bit. So I'm going to take Brother Goriel, and I'm gonna swap him with Sergeant Lorenzo. Now that puts Sergeant Lorenzo in a vulnerable position because there's a spawn point behind him and he's facing off in this direction. I cannot change the facing of Sergeant Lorenzo because he's not the Marine that's actually initiating the move. It's Brother Goriel. I am going to, however, flip Brother Goriel to face the other way. And in terms of Brother Claudio, I'm going to leave him where he is, I think. Or maybe no. What I'm going to do is, instead of I'm going to do that. So now we're in this position now. That's my yellow card resolved. Now my green card, which is my attack phase, which is the good bit. Now I've only got, each of my green Marines is only engaged with one Genestealer, but there is special text on this card that does say each time one of your attacking Space Marines rolls a 4, you can slay up to 3 Genestealers from the defending swarm. So the way we work here is we start at the top and work down. So Sergeant Gideon is going to attack this Genestealer here. To resolve an attack, you need to roll a dice. It's a 6-sided dice, but the highest number you can get is a 5 because there is a 0 on here. 3 of the sides have got these skull icons on. A 1, 2 and a 3 has a skull, a 0, 4 and a 5 doesn't. In order to kill that Genestealer, I need to roll a skull, so let's go. And I didn't roll a skull, however I did roll a 4, and because of the special text on my attack card, it says if I roll a 4, then I can slay up to 3 Genestealers from the defending swarm. This is the defending swarm in this case, so he goes bye-bye. Then moving down the formation, my next green guy attacks this Genestealer here. So I do the same process again. And I rolled a 1 which has a skull on it, so he's dead. Now I'll just put these cards back. I'll put the token on my tokens on the cards that I've played, so I remember not to play them again in the next round. Now that we've finished the action phase, we have to go on to the Genestealer phase. However, we don't have any Genestealers left in the formation. If we had, what we then have to do is again work the way down, and this time roll a defense roll against the Genestealers. So say for example these had not been destroyed, so we still had a Genestealer here and we still had a Genestealer here. This Genestealer would attack first. I'd have to roll. Now what I have to do is I have to roll the dice. This time it's the number that matters. I would have to roll a number greater than the number of Genestealers in order to survive. So for example, I've rolled a 2, there's only 1 Genestealer in the formation, 2 is greater than 1, therefore that would be a successful roll. The Genestealer would stay where he is, but so would I. But for example, if I'd rolled a 0 or a 1, yes, I could use the token to re-roll, but if I didn't have that token on there, there'd be no second chances and Sergeant Gideon would be dead. However, I did slay the Genestealers in the action phase, so there's nothing to do in the Genestealer phase. The last phase is the event phase, in which we draw an event card and read the text on the card. So the text says, Instinct. Choose a Space Marine and roll a dice. If you roll a skull, slay 2 Genestealers, engage with them of your choice. Now, it's really irrelevant because we don't have any Genestealers in the formation, but I'll do the roll anyway. And I didn't roll a skull, so that wouldn't have had an effect. But you can see now that now we have a major spawn on orange and a major spawn on green. And this funny little icon here. So again, orange is at this side, and as we established in the last video, a major spawn for this game is 2 Genestealers. So we'll take 2 Genestealers from the blip pile. 1, 2, and there you go here. And then 2 on green, and green is on this side, so we take it from this blip pile. 1, 2. Now, this icon that's on the card, this means that the Genestealers will now move. So we look for that icon there on the Genestealer cards that we've just drawn, and we actually have both Genestealers at this side have that, but it doesn't matter as long as one of them in the swarm have, and that means they move either up or down. So I think I may have said that if the Genestealers are on the left, they move down, and if the Genestealers are on the right, they move up. But if there's any confusion, what you do is you look at the Space Marine that they're engaged with, and you can see that there's a little up arrow there and a little down arrow there, but as they're on this side, it means they go up. So the whole swarm move up. And that's the end of the event phase, and now we're ready for round 2. Well, we're going to call it a day there, I think. We'll stop after 1 round. We'll pick up next time and hopefully finish the playthrough. I'm keen to get a win in this game, as I don't get them very often. Don't forget to comment and subscribe on this video. You can always like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FamilyGaming247. Follow us on Twitter at FamilyGaming247, and you can also catch up with us on our blog at familygaming247.wordpress.com. There'll be links at the end of this video. So I hope you join us next time, but until then, happy gaming.